Hello viewers, you are welcome to the KM Computer training video on the calculation on Excel. What we are going to be looking at this time around is the activity that involved how we can make use of the Excel to calculate total, whatever total that are involved in any of our calculation. It might be the total of the product, the total of the cars, and so on. Excel can easily do this for us within a twinkle of an eye. Also, another thing we will be looking at is the how we can make use of the Microsoft Excel to calculate the average. The average might involve many things, but as we have here, we are using the student score sheet to illustrate the example on how we can calculate the total, the average, and also we'll be looking at the how we can use the Excel to calculate the minimum. The minimum, you might be a salary earner or you are working in a particular office and they ask you to calculate the minimum salary paid out to a particular staff, or you are working in a store and you want to calculate the minimum product that you have. So you can use Excel to easily do all this. Then also we'll be looking at the how you can use Excel to calculate the maximum. The maximum, as I've said earlier, can involve many things: the maximum product, the maximum score, the maximum whatever. Also, we can equally use Excel to count specific figures to know how many are there. Maybe there are tens, just like in our statistic. You want to know the frequencies of a particular figures. So these are what we'll be looking at this time. And we have the activities, or we have the examples, or the examples that we are going to use to illustrate all this. Okay, now let's look at this. It says use the table shown above to calculate 1. The total scores of attendance, the practicals, and the exam scores of each student using sum function. It also asks us to calculate the total marks of all students in the column, and also we are asked to calculate the overall average mark score by students using average functions. Okay, so these are what we are asked to calculate. Also, the overall maximum mark score by student using maximum function. Count all the students' marks entered excluding total marks, average, minimum, and maximum marks. So these are what we are going to do, and let's go. So you ensure that you have opened your Excel and have some data types. So for us to do the first one, the total score of attendance, practical, and examination score of each student using the sum function. What do we call the function? What do we call the sum function? If you look at the video that we have done before, we have explained how we are going to calculate the total of any calculation given. But let's illustrate this again using the sum function. For us to use the sum function, you start with equals to. In fact, whenever you want to start any calculation in Excel, you make sure that you start with equal to, as you have seen. Then, since we are using the sum to calculate the sum of the attendance, the practical, and the examination, The first attendance score that we have is 12, which is scored by Adeola, and this is available in column in cell C6. So you type equal to C. It can be in capital letter, it can also be in small letter. So you type C6 since it appears in column 6, then plus the practical score by Adeola, which appear in cell D6. So you type D6 plus the examination score of Adeola, which appear in cell E6. So you can see we've typed equal to C6 plus D6 plus E6. This to add together the marks scored by Adeola, which is 12 plus 36 plus 38, but we are making use of the cell reference. The cell reference are the C6, D6 and E6. That is, cell reference is where the figures or where the values appear. 12 appear in C6, while 36 appear in D6, and also 38 appears in E6. Using the cell reference has advantages of using it to calculate other value. That is, you can use it to automatically calculate the answers for other cells. But if you make use of 12, 36, 38 directly, you cannot use this to calculate for other cells that has the same calculation. Okay, now after you have typed equal to C6 plus D6 plus E6, you press enter from your keyboard and it gives us 86. And if you total this, you realize that the total is 86. 12 plus 36 plus 38 gives 86. Now we've also talked about the autofill in our previous video. So we want to use autofill to calculate the other student, so we don't need to be calculating it one after the other. So take your pointer to the bottom left dot that you have here, then you click and drag it down. So this automatically calculates the other values since they are also total, and this is the easy way of using the Excel to calculate total. And as you can see, you can easily do this without wasting much of the time. So thank you. In our next video, you see how we can calculate the sum function and so on. Okay, now let's see the way we can calculate the maximum, or the next question. The next question says that calculate the total marks of all students in column. And if you look at what we have done, we have calculated the total mark of all the students using our auto sum or the autofill. Like if you look at the second student, who is Charles MM, from the formula bar it has automatically take C7, because we have 17 in C7, we have 34 in D7, and we also have the 34 in E7, which has automatically been taken by saying equal to C7 plus D7 plus E7. This one of the advantages of the Excel. It enables you to calculate faster what you're supposed to do in an hour. It enables you to do it within minutes. Okay, so we have done that. So the next one we'll be looking at is the third question, which